Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Sri Lanka on MTV Sports. Now it's a Monday, the 19th of November 2012. I hope you are not suffering from the Monday blues, as they call it, because some people like to think of Monday as the start of a work, filled with work, etc. But then Mondays should be celebrated. It's the start of a week for you to look forward to, new opportunities coming your way. Now let's take a look at some of the stories that's been happening over the weekend, some of the stories that's taken the headlines of the papers. Starting off with a story relating to Sri Lanka and the EU. Now, EU gives yellow card to Sri Lanka for illegal fishing. Now, the European Commission warned 8 developing countries, including Sri Lanka, that they did not, approve of the criminal illegal fishing, saying it was taking the first of its kind to impose sanctions if this did not stop. Now they say, moving on to say that they're not going to blacklist these countries as yet, but this is a definite warning, and the next time it happens, they will definitely move on to take sanctions against these countries. And what it says is that the EU believes that illegal fishing is actually harmful for the maritime fishing life, and also it harms the livelihood of some of the fishermen in and around the areas as well. So moving on, 5 Russian nationals arrested by the CID on suspicion over a major ATM card racket. Now this story is something that's news for most of us, and it's a very surprising news, because the figure estimated is the suspects who were arrested in Velavata had in their possession 250 fake credit cards, 6 laptops and 2 encoders, rupees 2.5 million and 5,000 euros in cash. The police said that the suspects had more than 25,000 US dollars in their possession, withdrawn from ATM machines in Sri Lanka. So definitely something as an eye-opener for all the people involved in the banking sector as well. Moving on to some of the local stories that's been developing, of course, regarding the impeachment motion. Now, UMP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe has met with university lecturers on Sunday to talk about some of the critical issues that's been happening in and around, obviously one to do with the education sector, and also some of the issues relating to the government's decision to move forward with an impeachment motion of the Chief Justice. And moving on to some international news, Gaza crisis, US must choose between justice and hawkish Jews. Just a week after his re-election, President Barack Obama is facing a big foreign policy issue, I would say, because he has to choose between justice and hawkish Jews, says the story. Now, Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip and Hamas's angry reaction to them are nothing unusual, but this time around the crisis assumes special significance. One, because also of the uncertainty over how the new government in Egypt would react, and also because the US elections had just completed, and it will be interesting to see how President Obama reacts to this as well. Moving on to sports news, obviously the cricket match between the Sri Lanka team and New Zealand happening at the moment. Mahela Jayawardene cracked an impressive 91 to lead Sri Lanka's fight back on an absorbing second day of the opening test against New Zealand in Galle. Now Sri Lanka were in deep trouble at 50 for 5 following fast bowler Tim Southee's 3-wicket burst in the morning. The scores originally from 50 to 5 and right up to 247. That's some good stuff by Mahela Jayawardene, and let's hope that the team fares well in the rest of the days of the match as well. And also in rugby, the 42nd Mercantile Rugby Sevens tournament will get on the way over the next weekend, and it will be happening at CRNFC. The tournament will kick off on the 23rd. And that will be interesting to watch, because around 40 teams have been registered for this, and it will be an interesting battle of rugby as well. Now with that, we'll head on to a short commercial break. Now when we are back, we are going to take a very interesting chat. We're going to have a very interesting chat with someone who has really had an impact, especially in the insurance sector, commonly nicknamed as the father of insurance. So let's take a look at that after the break. Today on Good Morning Sri Lanka, we have someone who has been nicknamed as the father of Sri Lankan insurance. A very good morning and welcome to Good Morning Sri Lanka, Mr. Chandra Shafter. So, just wanted to start off with a question. now 60 years in this industry. It's a milestone that you celebrated recently. When you started off, did you really expect to be at this position, 60 years from the time you started off?
Certainly not. I certainly never expected that I would get as far as I have done. I took to insurance in many ways for lack of any other avenue or opportunity, so I took to insurance, but somehow I seem to have grown with it and I have stuck to it, and certainly I don't regret it.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you wanted to get into the medical field at the start, right after your schooling. But even afterwards, did you consider at any point a change of field of what you were doing at the moment?
No, once I started doing insurance, I thought I would really stick to it. I didn't see any need to change.
And going back to your school days and some of your schoolboy memories, if you'd like to relive to us, because I understand you had a very illustrious career when you were in school as well as a sportsman and a lot of other activities as well.
Well, school life was very enjoyable. I think I did my studies as well as my sports for most of my career, but in the latter part, once I started playing first 11 cricket and hockey and the other games that I played like fives and soccer, I think my studies took second priority, and to that extent I still didn't do as well as I should have. But school was very good. I did well at sport. I think I did extremely well in cricket and hockey, and I also ended up as the head prefect of the school, so that was something that many people don't do, be head prefect and captain of cricket. So I think I did quite well in school.
And talking about sports, now you went on to represent the country in both of these sports. Now how has that really helped you in terms of being competitive in an industry that is so competitive and ever more becoming so? How has that really helped you to have that spirit of competitiveness?
I think to be honest, in those days sports was certainly not as competitive as it is today. It was played in a greater spirit of sportsmanship, and it was not played as seriously as it is now. So to that extent sport was not really a spur, but certainly sport helped in many other ways. It helped me to go forward in my work, in getting jobs, and it gave me an opportunity to improve myself in many ways. So in that way sport certainly helped me, and the fact that I played both cricket and hockey at international level was very important in the business world, because it certainly gave me an entry into many places where I would otherwise not have been able to go in.
Right, and also talking a bit about some of the challenges you faced. I mean, at a very early age, you faced a lot of challenges, but how has that really helped you in becoming a stronger person, and also in your business ethics, that to really keep going without looking back?
I think challenges, of course, I had to take them in my stride. There was nothing I could do about it, so I had to face them and make the best I could out of them. But certainly doing this business, and certainly my school background, helped me a great deal in doing whatever I did honestly and faithfully, and not trying to take shortcuts and do the wrong thing to get ahead. So those were some of the lessons which I learned both at sport and particularly in the school I went to.
And also, in an interview recently, you mentioned that you have no hopes of retiring whatsoever. So is that true? And I'd just like to ask you, what keeps you going? What motivates you, to just stay in this field and keep going?
Well, I think I like the work I do. I like to work. I like the insurance business, and I believe that it's fatal really to stop working if you have been reasonably active throughout your life. I think you should continue to work, because if you stop, I think you'll really stop dead literally.
Yes, most definitely. Something to take off for a lot of people who have time in balancing their time and also their work and family balance. Now, a bit of advice to someone who is up and coming in the insurance industry or wants to start off. What, in your opinion, is some of the ethics and some of the norms that they should follow?
Well, insurance itself as a profession has so much that is ethical in it. It teaches you things like good faith and integrity, and if you are not honest in this business, you will fail. The business you do will fail. You cannot be anything but honest in insurance business. You can make a lot of money if you are not honest, but then that's not really what it's all about. It's very easy to make money in insurance business if you want to, in the wrong way. But there's only one way which is the right way, and I think that is what insurance teaches us most. It is a business which is embedded in good faith and honesty.
And also talking about the recent award that you won, if you just like to mention a bit about that as well.
Well, that was an award given by the Asian Insurance Review, which is a magazine, and it was given during the East Asian Insurance Congress. About 16 nations are members of this organization and come to this Congress, and I was fortunate enough to be selected for the Lifetime Award. There was only one award given each year, and I was lucky, or I was fortunate, and I think it was a matter of honor for Sri Lanka that I was given this award. I was probably the first from a third world country who got this award, and also it's a matter of pride for the company I work for, which is Janashakti, that is by working for them that I was entitled to this award.
And Janashakti was probably your dream that you started off, but there were other companies as well that you started off and you helped to found. But then again, you don't really keep shares in them, but you just sometimes empower the next people to take it on. Now, what is the thinking behind such a move?
No, really. Well, I was responsible in many ways for when CTC Eagles started up. I was primarily involved in setting it up. I helped them to set it up. I gave them all their staff. I helped them with a lot of business, and I worked as a consultant in their life department. I set up their life department. So I had a lot to do with the setting up of CTC Eagle and running it for 4 or 5 years. Then I gave that up and went back to my broking business, which is was the primary business I did. Of course, then I did Janashakti. Some years later, I started Janashakti Life, and a year after that, I started Janashakti General. So those were the two insurance companies which I started on my own and set up on my own. Eagle, I really helped to set it up, and I played the major part in setting it up, but I had no shareholding in it. I really had a management contract, and I helped to run it.
And talking about your years of experience in the industry, and also starting from probably one of the lowest positions and going on right to the top, what are some of the life lessons that you would like to share with us?
Well, I think you have to work hard, you have to know the business you are in, and you have to improve your knowledge, and above all, I think you have to retain your honesty. Especially in this business, if you are not honest, you have no place in it. And I think you must have confidence in yourself or faith in yourself. I gave up my job, a very good job, and got on my own, back again at the bottom of the ladder as an insurance agent with a wife and 4 children. But still I had the confidence that I could make a go of it, and maybe I was blessed. I was fortunate enough to do well, and that's what it is all about.
Yes, it's very interesting you mentioned that, because my next question was probably about risk taking. Now, you are known to be a successful risk taker.